Autumn, 1579. Azuchi Castle. Oda Nobunaga's glittering stronghold over Lake Biwa prepares for a night of culture. War outside. Refinement inside. A renowned Sarugaku troupe from Kyoto arrives with masks, costumes, and drums. Guards conduct light inspections. These are artists, not assassins. Cultural guests who make the Lord appear sophisticated. The performance begins at midnight. Drums echo through stone halls. Lords lean forward. Retainers watch the stage. No one watches the men moving behind painted screens. By dawn, nothing appears changed. Nobunaga enjoyed his play. The troupe departs with gifts and praise. Life returns to war and politics. But somewhere far from Azuchi, someone now holds architectural sketches of the main keep. Who sat where? Which retainers whispered together? Which guards left posts to listen to singing? This is Sarugaku in the Shoninki, the mask that weaponized culture itself, turning art into the sharpest blade in ninja history. Welcome to the stage, where the deadliest weapon isn't hidden steel, it's invited applause, and the most dangerous enemy is the one you paid to entertain you.
Sarugaku isn't just actor disguise. In Natori Masazumi's system, it's something sharper, converting culture into security clearance. In Sengoku, Japan, performers were officially low status, below samurai, below merchants, below peasants in some registers. Here's the paradox. Those same performers stepped into spaces no ordinary samurai could touch. Private audience halls, inner gardens, ritual chambers where lords showed weakness. Natori breaks Sarugaku access into 4 cold advantages. Elite entry straight into main halls, not through servant passages. Emotional disarmament through performances that lower rigid defenses. Movement pretext for assistants to be everywhere legitimately. Pattern observation from the stage, watching who sits where, talks to whom. No other disguise combines all 4. Merchants reach storerooms, monks reach confessions. Sarugaku watches everything simultaneously. During performances, hierarchy flips temporarily. The Lord becomes audience member. The actor commands the room through artistic authority. This attention monopoly creates massive blind spots. While everyone watches lead performers, stage assistants become functionally invisible, present but unprocessed by conscious attention. They move props, adjust screens, walk through restricted areas. Background noise that no one sees because the foreground is too compelling. But to weaponize that position, ninja first had to survive the most brutal test imaginable. Public performance before Japan's deadliest warlords. With merchants and monks, you could sometimes fake competence well enough to fool guards and minor officials. With Sarugaku, good enough gets you executed in front of a full house for insulting the host through incompetent art. A bad merchant embarrasses himself. A bad monk reveals ignorance. A bad actor insults the Lord. And that's not embarrassment. That's execution. Ninja in Sarugaku roles needed genuine training spanning years. They had to master kata, choreographed movement patterns, match precise timing with live musicians, handle masks properly without revealing wrong faces, and project voice to fill large halls. The Shoninki is blunt. If your neck depends on performance quality, do not learn skills from books. Learn from those for whom mistakes mean hunger. This meant embedding ninja within real troops, or choosing operatives from families already connected to performance lineages. Authentic training that couldn't be rushed or faked. Sarugaku wasn't freelance entertainment. It was artistic lineage with documented histories, specific masters, established styles, and verifiable patron relationships. Fake troops with invented pasts invited immediate questions. Which school trained you? Who was your master? Where have you performed previously? Which lords have witnessed your work? One wrong answer about non-existent masters or fabricated performance history, and castle officials would know instantly something was wrong. The artistic community was too interconnected for false claims to survive verification. Successful operations required years of reputation building. Small villages first, market towns next, minor lords gradually, until that excellent troupe from Sakai felt as familiar and trusted as any established merchant house. This is where most spies would fail catastrophically. Performers don't behave like merchants, monks, or soldiers. They move differently in rooms, accept praise differently, carry a unique mix of deference and pride. Too humble, and you're just a servant. Too proud, and you're a threat to hierarchy. The performer's equation. I'm beneath you in status, but above you in craft. You need me for your cultural image. Natori's warning is icy. The man who remembers he is samurai while wearing performance mask will look like a warrior pretending. The man who forgets he was ever samurai will be believed completely. Training didn't just drill movements and lines, it drilled reactions. How to bow precisely when praised. How to accept sake without losing control. How to joke with retainers without crossing invisible social boundaries. Once that psychological reality held completely, the real operational work could begin. Not on stage, but systematically around it, through 4 distinct mission phases. The Shoninki doesn't explicitly lay out Sarugaku mission templates, but analyzing documented patterns reveals a clear operational rhythm as precise as the performances themselves. Great castles don't invite strangers inside inner keeps for lords' private entertainment. Access starts far below and builds methodically. First, village festivals and market town performances. Then, small castles of minor lords. Word spreads organically. That troupe is exceptional. Lord So-and-so's guests were genuinely impressed. Eventually, someone at the target castle hears recommendations from trusted sources. Cultural momentum overcomes security instinct. A messenger is dispatched with invitation. The gate that no bribe could open now swings wide for art, because refusing prestigious cultural entertainment would damage the Lord's reputation among peers and rivals. The show hasn't started, but the mission already has. Stages don't build themselves. Troops must examine halls, test acoustics, check sightlines, place props, rehearse entrances and exits. Every creative decision is simultaneously reconnaissance. How far from stage to Lord's seat? How many steps to nearest exit? Where do guards position when halls are full? Which pillars could conceal a person? A stage assistant measuring curtain length is actually mapping walkway width. A drummer, testing sound near different walls, is checking how much conversation can be overheard from behind structural elements. The castle believes it's preparing for beauty. The ninja is preparing for war, mapping battlefield geometry, while everyone else thinks about artistic arrangements. When masks go on, the real masks come off. Lords who never show emotion in formal council now laugh, cry, frown, lean forward in fear or recognition during dramatic scenes. From the stage, Sarugaku sees everything. Who sits closest to the Lord, indicating real influence. Who gets premium viewing positions, showing favor. Who exchanges meaningful looks when betrayal appears in the play. Who doesn't applaud when loyalty is praised on stage. The performance itself becomes diagnostic tool. Control simulation of loyalty, treachery, sacrifice, and reward that reveals authentic emotional responses from targets who believe they're safely anonymous in darkness. Natori hints at this with characteristic coldness. By showing them tales of others' choices, you reveal who they truly are when consequences seem distant. But the most intimate intelligence gathering happened after the final drumbeat, when protocol relaxed and sake flowed freely among culturally elevated guests. After the last bow, the most valuable phase begins. Lords summon lead actors for private praise. Retainers approach with sake, wanting to associate with cultured guests who enhance their own sophistication. Tongues loosen in the afterglow of successful entertainment. Faces relax. Hierarchies soften just enough for dangerous truths to slip out through alcohol and emotional satisfaction. A tipsy retainer boasts, "You know that villain in your play? We have one exactly like him serving right here." Another complains half-jokingly about his posting or treatment. A third hints that he knows things others don't to impress artistic guests. Skilled ninja don't push these conversations. They let men talk around what matters, then remember the gaps and implications more than the actual words spoken. By dawn departure, they carry no stolen objects, just knowledge. Where the Lord sits during vulnerable moments, which son he favors for succession, which retainer he doesn't watch closely enough. But intelligence gathering was only one application. Sometimes the performance itself became the weapon through psychological manipulation of audience emotions. One of the Shoninki's coldest insights appears almost academic on surface. The seat reveals power. The reaction reveals character. The story reveals what the listener would do if freed from consequence. In castle main halls during performances, nothing is accidental. Seating arrangements reveal invisible rankings that matter more in war than official titles. Who sits closest to the Lord? That's obvious power. But Natori cared about subtler patterns. Who sits near doors with fast access but lower prestige? Who maintains direct sightlines despite physical distance? Who shares cushions indicating alliance? From elevated stage positions, actors see these alignments better than any court official at floor level. They observe the whole pattern simultaneously. Who leans forward together during dramatic moments? Who glares when others speak? Whose posture changes when certain names are mentioned? A single night of performance gives perceptive ninja what months of formal espionage might not. A live diagram of informal influence networks and factional tensions. Sophisticated performers designed dramatic scenarios functioning as psychological tests, watching audience reactions to identify political tensions without asking direct questions. The loyal retainer story. tales glorifying absolute loyalty regardless of personal cost. Observe which retainers show discomfort, wrong expressions, or nervous glances during these scenes, revealing potential disloyalty or resentment. The corrupt lord drama. Stories featuring lords who abuse power or betray faithful servants. Does the real lord laugh too enthusiastically at cruel authority? Do retainers show visible discomfort, suggesting they experience similar dynamics? Ambiguous moral endings. Performances ending without clear resolution force audiences to project their own values. Post-show discussions about story meaning reveal core beliefs and strategic thinking patterns that formal conversation would never expose. The genius. Audiences never suspect psychological assessment. They think they're discussing art, while actually revealing intelligence about internal conflicts and power dynamics. But observing reactions required extraordinary split-attention capabilities that pushed human cognitive limits to their breaking point. If seeing how ninja transformed elite theater into intelligence warfare is changing how you think about just entertainment, hit like and subscribe. And if you want deeper study of real historical texts behind these techniques, check the ninja books in our description and comments. Worth every page. For normal actors, complete focus on artistic role marks mastery. For ninja, complete focus means death. Sarugaku ninja had to deliver technically perfect performances while simultaneously conducting intelligence operations requiring different cognitive resources. They performed emotional scenes convincingly, while counting guard stations and peripheral vision, tracking who entered and left halls, monitoring lords' reactions to specific content, and noting which side doors opened quietly. Natori's requirement is chilling. Your face must belong to the role completely. Your eyes, behind it, must belong to the mission entirely. Both must be authentic simultaneously. Few humans can maintain two demanding cognitive tasks without degrading performance in both. Successful operatives develop this through years of specific training that most couldn't survive. Students practiced artistic lines and sword drills on the same days, rehearsed emotional breakdowns on stage, then turned those emotions off instantly when real danger appeared. The Shoninki hints at the psychological cost. The man whose heart feels deeply for his art, but must use it as a blade, carries heavier burden than the man who carries only steel. They had to become genuine artists first, then learn to weaponize that authenticity without destroying it. The internal contradiction broke weaker minds completely. But even perfect training couldn't eliminate all risks. Advanced enemies developed counterintelligence specifically targeting performer infiltration. The Shoninki taught defensive applications, systematic methods for catching ninja using performer disguises before operations could achieve their objectives. Perform the dance of falling pine immediately, no preparation. Real actors know classical pieces instantly. Muscle memory takes over without conscious thought. Spies hesitate, think, calculate. That split-second delay between request and response is a death sentence, because genuine performers react faster than conscious processing. Physical examination could also expose frauds. No movements required specific muscle development, joint flexibility, breathing control that genuine practitioners developed over years. Bodies told stories words could lie about. Authentic performers possessed deep cultural literacy extending beyond their specialty. Classical poetry, religious symbolism, aesthetic philosophy,
literary references informing interpretive choices. Counterintelligence interrogators would drop obscure references into casual conversation about artistic influences, seasonal aesthetics, or classical allusions. Spies focused only on performance mechanics would miss cultural context. Silence where there should be recognition. Confusion where there should be immediate understanding.
You studied under Master Kanzi? Then you know his peculiar habit with tea ceremonies before performances. Real disciples know the personal quirks, inside jokes, gossip, and human texture of their training relationships. Spies know official histories, but miss the authentic, emotional connections. This forced ninja to achieve genuine artistic relationships over years, not just technical competence, making Sarugaku operations extremely expensive in time and emotional investment. Chronicles don't explicitly state, "Ninja actor killed this man." They rarely name ninja operations directly, but they record patterns. Major political shifts preceded or followed by unusual performances. Sudden invitations to unknown troops. Strange festivals appearing out of season. Azuchi wasn't just fortress. It was Nobunaga's propaganda piece, demonstrating cultural supremacy alongside military power. He filled it with art, paintings, gardens, and regular performances. The Shinchō Kōki records multiple high-profile entertainments for guests, including plays dramatizing themes of loyalty and betrayal. Every cultural night brought outsiders into his most secure spaces during moments when armor came off psychologically. Every performance was potential intelligence opportunity for sufficiently prepared operatives. We don't have direct evidence saying ninja stood on that stage. The Shoninki never names specific attacks. That's the point. If the performer is remembered as suspicious, the ninja failed completely. Later Edo records suggest certain Iga families maintained relationships with performance troops. Those specific operational details require historical interpretation. Some Hattori branch lines are noted as skilled in both stealth and song, a phrase modern readers skim, but Natori would have understood as operational description. To him, that combination isn't strange, it's optimal. A man who can move unseen in mountains and stand confidently on stage without fear represents someone you trust with missions others couldn't survive. But documented connections raise questions about how deeply ninja clans had penetrated Japan's cultural infrastructure for intelligence purposes. Most Sarugaku missions focused on intelligence, not elimination. But if killing became necessary, the props were ready, and security would never suspect them. A performance fan on stage appears innocent, a symbol, a prop for graceful gestures that enhance dramatic effect. But a Tessin, iron fan, with steel ribs can shatter wrists, break jaws, parry sword strikes, or crush windpipes with proper technique and timing. Even decorative paper fans, sensu, could hide messages on inner surfaces, poison compounds on edges, or razor-thin blades within folding mechanisms. No guard expects killing blows from men wearing painted smiles and chanting classical poetry. That expectation gap is precisely what makes it effective. Traditional instruments required for authentic performances doubled as sophisticated tactical equipment when properly prepared. No-con flutes. Hollow construction creates sealed chambers for rolled intelligence documents, chemical compounds, communication devices through specific melodies, striking weapons in close combat. Required performance instruments that passed security without inspection. Guards heard music. Ninja heard opportunity. Taiko drums, sound masking for other operative movement, concealed storage for equipment and weapons in hollow interiors that security never checked. String instruments. Shamisen strings became garrots, climbing rope when braided, or tripwires. Ubiquitous presence made them psychologically invisible to threat assessment. The principle, everything appearing necessary for artistic performance, also served tactical purposes that security forces never imagined checking. But weapons were secondary to the deeper strategic applications that transformed entire cultural events into intelligence operations. The most sophisticated Sarugaku operations involved creating entire cultural events that served intelligence objectives while providing genuine entertainment value to unsuspecting participants. Advanced operations skip enemy castles, target neutral ground instead. Alliance summits, peace talks, rooms where rivals sit. Pretend to trust. Performance isn't decoration, it's protocol. Host provides culture. Guests watch it. Refuse the show? Look barbaric. Accept it? Invite spies inside. The setup is perfect. Lords watch lords. Actors watch everyone. Who sweats? Who drinks early? Who flinches when betrayal hits the stage? Classical drama becomes pressure test. Loyalty oaths on stage. Real loyalty in the seats. Every twitch logged, every tell recorded, every weakness mapped. Curtains fall, sake flows, rank dissolves. Men who guarded every word for 3 hours suddenly want to impress the cultured guests. They think, artistic discussion. Reality, strategic confession. Ninja don't harvest words. They harvest gaps, hesitations, the truths bleeding through sake. Advanced operations used performance content to systematically influence audience political attitudes and decision-making through emotional manipulation, disguised as artistic expression. Subtle propaganda embedded in classical stories, satirical elements targeting specific political figures, dramatic themes emphasizing certain values over others, all designed to shift audience thinking in directions serving strategic objectives. The manipulation was sophisticated enough that audiences never recognized it as political influence. They thought they were being entertained, while actually being psychologically conditioned toward specific political conclusions. The Shoninki includes profound ethical discussions about weaponizing artistic practice, revealing moral tensions that demonstrate ninja philosophical sophistication. When ninja use merchant stalls for cover, commerce survives. When they use monk robes, faith bends but holds. When they use art as weapon, something more fragile breaks permanently. Natori records internal debates. If lords begin suspecting plays themselves, they will ban what softens hearts during wartime. We win battles, but lose the mirror that shows us our humanity. This represents cold awareness from professionals whose job was deception, understanding that some weapons damage the wielder as much as the target. Sarugaku ninja lived unique psychological torture. Other operatives used skills only for missions. When operations ended, tools were sheathed and normal life resumed. Performers still had to perform authentically for real audiences who came seeking only beauty and meaning. They divided performances mentally, shows that were missions versus shows that were purely art. The Shoninki suggests some ninja came to resent missions and cling to pure artistic expression. They fell in love with stage more than strategy. Natori neither condemns nor applauds this. Some did not return when summoned. They were no longer tools. They had become what they pretended to be. From one perspective, that's mission failure. From another, it's liberation from a life of perpetual deception through discovery of authentic purpose. The most successful Sarugaku operations required genuine artistic excellence that actually enhanced cultural institutions rather than corrupting them. Poor performances damaged not only operational security, but public trust in theater that innocent artists needed for survival. Excellent performances preserved the cultural ecosystem while achieving intelligence objectives. This created moral obligation. Ninja had to be authentically good artists, serving their art genuinely, even while using it for strategic deception, because only real artistic contribution could maintain the cultural foundation their operations required.
The hall empties at Azuchi. Tatami mats cool in night air. The echo of drums fades into ancient stone. Retainers discuss favorite scenes and artistic symbolism. Lords comment on performance quality. No one speaks about who sat where, who didn't applaud, or whose face turned to stone when stage traders appeared. The troupe walks out through the same gates it entered, carts loaded with props and costumes. Respectful bows exchanged with guards who remember excellent entertainment. Behind them, the castle returns to politics and warfare. Ahead of them, someone waits to hear what they observed during those hours when Japan's deadliest warlord let his guard down to watch beautiful lies. Sarugaku represents the purest expression of Shoninki philosophy. You don't break into fortresses if fortresses invite you inside, dim the lights, and beg you to show them stories that reveal their souls. But Sarugaku was elite theater, private halls, invitation only. What happens when the mission moves to the street? Hundreds watching, broad daylight, no invitation needed. Next time, Okashi, the street phantom. Not hiding in shadows, hiding in spotlight, making crowds cheer while messages move. Guards laugh while weapons plant. Same principle, different scale. Sarugaku whispered into locked rooms. Okashi turns the entire street into the weapon. Until next time, remember the Sarugaku lesson that cuts deepest. Never assume a story is just a story. In the right hands, it's a weapon that doesn't stop cutting when the curtain falls.